It was another one of those great baseball games that we tend to have when we play Clemson. It was a game where we scored early. Jordan was outstanding. Tyler Webb was outstanding. We played good defense. We scored enough to hold up. We knew they were going to come back at us, which was to be expected, and we just had a great game today. It's about as good as we can play. I'm so proud of these guys and their effort, and we've grown up a lot during the season. We had some veteran guys, but a lot of young guys that I think listened to the older guys and tried to work together and to become a pretty good team at the end of the year. And we've been involved in some close ones. We won our share, and can't say enough about Coach Leggett and his team, and how talented and good they are. They're veteran players. They wouldn't go away. Keep them gets a hit through the right side to keep things going. Great program. We pitched Schaefer as good as we could possibly pitch him, and Poe and those guys are outstanding. And like I said, we probably can't play any better. We put a complete game today on the field with defense and great pitching and enough runs to hold up.
Questions for the student athletes? Okay, David.
Yeah, Jordan, I don't think Clemson faced you in the regular season series. Do you think that gave you any kind of advantage going out there today?
I guess them not seeing me before it helped, but I mean, I'm just glad to go out there and they didn't know too much about me. I don't know what the scouting report was, but I'm sure they had one on me.
Over here.
Jordan, what was it like for you to be able to go to the mound with a 3-1 lead before you ever took the mound? Did that kind of help calm you down before you had to go out there and start pitching?
It's always good to go out there with a lead, and I had to lead the whole game, so it's good knowing have a little cushion and knowing that they're going to keep hitting and you have a chance just hold them at where they are.
Good. Adam, can you talk about what it was like being injured last year during the postseason, but you come back your senior year and have a great first round of the playoffs?
The past couple of years has been frustrating not being able to be a part of the postseason. Like you said, last year I was hurt, but this year I'm just, it's an honor to be able to play in front of our fans at home and be able to contribute in a big way. And it was a lot of fun, and like I said, it's an honor.
Rick.
Adam, the Clemson guys were talking about how difficult it is to play here, especially in a postseason game with the crowd, the atmosphere. When you guys are playing here in those big games, do you feel like superheroes?
Well, I don't know about superheroes, but it's certainly a lot of fun. I was telling Coach Tanner before we came in here, that last pop fly, I couldn't even hear what Evan was saying, and he was telling me, he's like, you got it, you got it, you got it. So that could have been bad if he was saying, I got it, I got it, I got it. So, being able to play at home and the fans are great. It's been a heck of a weekend, and hopefully we can continue next weekend.
Jordan, it seemed like the middle innings that you settled in a little bit, and I think you sat down 11 in a row. What was going on there? Did you just get a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, got real comfortable on the mound, and I guess wasn't as nervous in front of the big crowd. And then having that lead, I just knew I had to pound the zone and use my defense.
Back to the room.
Tyler, it just seems like every game that matters so much, you guys make the right pitches, you guys make the plays in the field, you guys get the base hits. I know it doesn't get old, but do you ever step back and are amazed about how clutch this team has been over these last few years?
Yeah, it's, when you look back at it, it's hard to believe, some of the games we played and the clutch hits that our hitters have gotten, the pick that Barry made last year, and all that. It's when you step back and look at it, it's pretty amazing, but it definitely never gets old. So,
David.
For Tyler and Jordan, you guys didn't allow a leadoff man to get on. Was that a special concentration, or just kind of how it felt today?
That's always our goal to get the leadoff man, because when you get them, it's harder for them to bunt them over or get anything going really. So that's always the goal, and we just tried to pound the zone and get that first guy out, and it makes it a little easier on them.
Right. Adam, from your perspective, before you recorded that last out, what did you think when the ball came off the bat?
I thought it was hit pretty well. I think Tyler said he hung it a little bit, but like I said earlier, I'm just glad that Evan wasn't saying I got it, because it could have been bad. But I thought he had a pretty good swing on it, and luckily it just stayed in the park.
Yeah. Tyler, were you pretty determined to try to get out there and finish today, especially knowing that Matt likely wasn't available, that probably going to fall on your shoulders?
Yeah, I just wanted to go out there and just throw as well as I could, for as long as I could, and then, I knew we had other guys in the pen that were more than capable of, coming in, pitching as well, or maybe even better than me. So, that's a great feeling knowing you got those guys behind you. But I just tried to, fill up the zone and pitch as good as I can for as long as I could. And it just happened to be for the whole game. So.
Tyler, what was your thought when the ball left fielder's bat? Did you catch a quick breath or exactly?
There for a second, I was a little nervous. Like Adam said, I didn't make the quality pitch I wanted to, but once I saw Adam stop running, I guess I caught my breath and didn't feel so bad after that.
Tyler, no, it was a year ago, but were you thinking at all about what Will said about you last year?
No, that's in the past. I just wanted to go out there, and I don't think you need any extra motivation for this great rivalry for either team. I just went out there and tried to throw strikes and help the team have a chance to win.
Tyler and Jordan, you guys keep Schaefer and Pohl to just 1 of 8. They struck out 4 times against you today. What was your approach going against 2 dangerous hitters like that?
The approach really was, maybe pitch them a little backwards. Be careful with, your pitches don't really give them anything that great to hit. And if you miss off the plate, no harm done, but definitely don't want to leave a pitch over the plate. So that was our goal today, and just make quality pitches, and for the most part we did.
Jordan, being from just down the road and getting the job done like you did today and on this huge stage, is this kind of a dream come true kind of type of scenario for you, especially being a local guy?
It's good to get a lot of pitching time in front of a bunch of family and friends, and I know a couple people that I haven't seen in a while made it out today, and it's just good to perform and get the starts, and glad the coaches trust me.
Adam, can you talk about your emotions being named MVP?
It's an honor. It's been a roller coaster ride my 4 years here, and playing this what will be my last regional. It's an honor to be named MVP. I had a lot of fun out there playing with this team and these guys and the coaching staff is a blessing and a dream come true. I grew up a Carolina fan my whole life, so having the opportunity to play here and be on the field versus in the stands has just been a blessing.
John. Adam, the job that Jonathan Meyer did against y'all, what was he doing to get y'all out after y'all got off to such a hot start?
He's mixing his pitch as well. Me in particular, he was running some fastballs in on the hands, and then keeping that slider away from me. So he was kind of just keeping us off balance. We were trying to, use the whole field and try to have a good approach up there. But he did a great job keeping us off balance, and he had a good game for him.
Jordan, Ray was talking before the SEC tournament about you had those 3 rough starts and sort of what some of your issues were just location type stuff that you were leaving some stuff out over. How important was the Vanderbilt start? What did you kind of hope to go in the SEC tournament? I mean, what did you kind of hope to go in and to accomplish out of that? What do you feel like you got out of that from a technical standpoint?
After those 3 bad starts, I worked at it really hard in the bullpen, just trying to spot up my fastball better and keeping my off speed stuff low. But that Vanderbilt was like a big confidence booster. It let me know that once I hit my spots, then I can get people out and don't really have to worry about too much.
Anything else? We have one more here.
Jordan, just talk about the first inning. You had 2 assists in that inning. The little matador. You ever had that happen before in any other games?
Not this year. Usually I'm pretty decent at getting those balls up the middle, but I was a little bit late reacting to them and just hit it right back at them.
John?
Tyler, if you could just talk a little bit about how it was throwing to Dante Rosenberg, how good of a job he did back there for y'all all weekend.
Dante's he's been around with us for a while, and he catches most of our pins, and I feel like him and Grayson just are so great at catching this staff, and it's almost like we didn't even skip a beat when he came in. You know, I know everyone was talking, you know, how is he going to do behind the plate, but I feel like I speak for the whole team when we had the utmost confidence in him, and you know, great receiver and got a pretty good arm. So I mean, I think he did a great job, and I like throwing the both of them.
Yeah. Adam, did you make any significant or even, I guess, minor, at this point late in the season, adjustments to your swing here in the week you had between the end of the SEC tournament and now when you had all that practice time? What in particular did you concentrate on that maybe helped you have such a big weekend, mechanics-wise or even approach-wise and mentality-wise?
The only thing I really changed was actually probably before the LSU series. I opened up my front foot a little bit. Coach Tanner was working with me on that, and I was getting jammed on fastballs then. I just couldn't get my hands to them. So, you know, I opened up a little bit. But the main thing is, you know, getting my foot down and making sure I throw my top hand. You know, if I don't do that, my back, you know, drags in the zone, and that's when I have the weak pop flies or, you know, just miss balls. So, you know, this, you know, especially my first hit today in the 6-hole, you know, I got my hand straight through it and, you know, hit it solid, and that's something I've been working on hard this week, and just throwing my hands at it and you know, getting the foot down.
Anything else from student athletes? All right, thank you. Let's go.
This was not supposed to come down here. I changed that already. The one in your locker room is correct, actually. Brought that down here. That was not right. Someone's in trouble there.
Final score wrong again.
From a two-time national champion.
Questions for Coach Tanner?
I'll be making a few changes around here.
Someone's in trouble later.
You never left. You said yesterday. Ray, Tyler went kind of long today. Was there any hesitation on your part to leave him in there, maybe to go with Evan or somebody else?
Well, the design, you know, our plan was today that we would go to Bill, especially with the right-handers when they got there. But he was pretty good. You know, Tyler's been a guy that's contributed in a big way for us the entire year, his entire career. But today there was a little bit extra there. His changeup is as good as it's been. He was able to locate. His fastball had a little more life today. And, you know, when he got out there, I told Coach Myers, I said, this looks pretty good to me. And we had Bill down there ready to go to face those righties, but his stuff was so good. And probably for the first time in Tyler's career, he told me at the end of the 8th, he said, I'm good. Don't come get me. And he's never said that. I mean, he's always the guy that he's happy, you know, with the role that he has to make a contribution, to be a setup guy, to do what he's asked to do and not say too much about it. And he was really good today, and because of that, I think he realized it, and he said, I feel like I can finish this thing up. So I was good with that. And if you get beat sometimes, now had that last guy reached, we probably were going to flip him with Bill. He was ready to go.
Ray, you didn't find out until just before the game who Clemson was going to pitch. How did you get the scouting report together, and was the plan to be that aggressive in the first inning on Hazelwood?
Well, it was, because we have scouting reports on all of the opponents, and especially with Clemson having been so familiar with them. We've got a report on all their pitchers. They got a report on all of our pitchers as well. And we knew they were going to start a right-hander. That was a given. So when we found out it was Hazelden, the scouting report is he's going to throw a lot of strikes early. Now, he did walk a few guys in the Coastal game the other day, but he got out of it. And so when Coach Holbrook went over the offensive report with the hitters, that's what he said. He said, let's take some hacks early. He's going to throw some balls in the zone. He's going to spin some and try to get you to make some outs. But let's take some aggressive swings. And we got a few early. We were fortunate enough to put some runs on the board.
Ray, Clemson talked about how big of a disadvantage it is to come here and play in the postseason. How much better does your team get here in playing in these big games? I mean, do they take it from here to here, all the way to the top?
Well, I think that, you know, wherever you go, whatever sport it may be, teams are always a little bit better at home. And we feel like we're a pretty good team all the time, but we're better at home as well. And our guys play with tremendous awareness. Our fans elevate that. They don't want us to lose. They try to do their part to keep our guys going and picking us up. And it's the best environment you can possibly be in. I can't say enough good things about the support that we get in our fans, and they're committed to us. You know, we're talking about television locally, and we still get a lot of people come out, and it's been so important for our program, for our players, and they appreciate it. It's not something we take for granted, and we played really well. You know, Clemson is outstanding. They always have been. They're good every single year, and today we probably couldn't play any better.
Back to Mark.
Coach, when you think about the winning streak here at Carolina Stadium, in Columbia in general, and then you look at the 19 NCAA wins in a row, if you remove yourself from it, is that hard for you to fathom that any team could put together a streak like that in today's college baseball?
Well, it is, and I don't even think about it. It's one of those things. I said to somebody the other day, they said something about the World Series deal the last couple of years, and I go, you know what, I'm still in the middle of this thing. It's probably going to take me years to reflect back and go, wow, that was a pretty good run. I'm just still in the middle of it, and I don't think about any of those things. I really don't. I'm not giving you any coach speak. I worry about the next pitch, and I worry about trying to put guys somewhere on defense, and that's just the way it is. I can't get ahead of myself, and I try not to worry about what's behind me, but I try to do the very best I can with what we have in front of us in the moment.
Ray, pitching was pretty good today, but defensively, especially Ferguson, really made some plays out there to help them out. Talk about just how the defense played.
You know, Chase is one of those guys that he's not blessed with tremendous ability, but he gets everything he can out of that body he's got, and he tries to anticipate. The ball that he dove for and made a forehand catch, I saw that. I was over in that third base dugout. I saw that. He anticipated a little bit the movement, the swing. He was almost cheating a little bit to get to that ball. Sometimes balls are hit and guys react. It was almost like the Cal Ripken that did it for many years. He was always moving because he could feel it, he could sense it. And Chase got a good jump on that and went up there and made a nice play. Joey Pancake had a nice backhand. The one ball that kind of ate him up took a bad hop over there, but he made a couple of nice plays as well. But Tanner comes in and catches a bloop for us. That was as good as it gets.
Ray, you mentioned in your opening statement that you guys have grown up a lot, and that was obviously the plan from the beginning of the season, to play these young guys right away. How difficult was it to maybe stick to that plan midway through the season and arrive at this point we are now?
It was probably harder for me than it was for them, to be quite honest with you. I've been in this for a long time, but I'm probably not as patient as I should be, and it was very frustrating in the beginning, and I probably didn't help the situation. I was probably a little bit too hard on them, and I thought I was trying to help them, but I might not have done a good enough job in the very beginning. But they stuck with it. They worked hard at it. They had some bad days here and there, but the older guys were there for them. And it's going to be okay, because I remember situations where I'm trying to coach a young guy, and the older guy comes behind me to make sure they're okay, that I didn't mess them up for the rest of the game. And that's been important. Those guys have been through it. When Walker and Marzilli and Matthews, those guys were young or freshmen, they went through it a little bit too. And they knew we needed some of those young guys to help us to get to this point if we were going to be able to. And they did a heck of a job. And it's gratifying that we became a better team. Not the fact that we're sitting here today, but we got better. We improved as the season went on. We had our bumps, but we got a little bit more competitive. We got a little bit better. We won some close games after not winning some early, and we're still playing right now. So I'm really proud of this group.
Back to room, Rick.
Coach, if my math is right, I think it's also 12 straight one-run games in the postseason, and it's over a couple of years, so it's obviously some different guys who are helping out. Do you have any explanation for that? For all these close games, you guys seem to find out some ways to win?
No, I can't. I can't. I couldn't tell you too many things that have happened in the past. I know we're always in these. We haven't been a team that will throw up a crooked number on you too much offensively. So we have to pitch and play defense and keep it close. Try to win one late. Try to stay in it. That's sort of the way we've been. I can remember last year with Wingo and Morales and those guys, you know, we'd be down by 2 in the 7th, and we got them right where we want them, and I'm like, come on. But it's like, you know, we just got to stay within striking distance, get the tying run in the on-deck circle, get the tying run in the hole, and feel like you got a shot. But that's the kind of team we have. You know, the bats have changed. You just don't run away from people too much anymore. You got to pitch and play defense. And along those lines, I got to take a moment to mention Dante Rosenberg. He was outstanding. I mean, you're talking about a guy that you say, well, he filled in nicely. He was better than filling in nicely. He was spectacular back there. He was very, very special, and he blocked and he received, and low target guy, and you know, he had a good rapport with our pitchers. He had the rhythm going. He coached them up. His communication with Coach Myers was as good as it could get. And he's a guy that got to play early, didn't get to play a lot late, but when he was called upon, he was very special. And I told him when he was leaving a while ago, I said that was very, very impressive. I said, now this week we'll work on your hitting.
Back to the room. Coach, the regional titles continue to pile up, but for this year, the fact that you beat Clemson twice to win a regional title, will that stand out to you down the road, and even very soon, that you'll be able to reflect very soon that you beat Clemson twice to win a regional title?
I don't get wrapped up in that. I think that they have a lot of respect for us. I have tremendous respect for Coach Leggett and his program, and we've been going at it for a long time. He and I have we started back at, he was at Western Carolina and I was at NC State, and he would come to Raleigh every year, and he would ask me to come to Colorway, and I'd tell him I don't know how to get there. So, but he would always come to Raleigh and play. We've been playing for a long time, and you battle, you go at it. It's a rivalry thing, and you know, like I said yesterday, since I've been here, he's been there a couple years more than I have here, but it's pretty much even. They've had us for a while. We win a close one or two, but at the end of the day, it's very, very close. The numbers are, and you know, and a lot of them are one-run games and go down to the end. So I don't get carried away with beating anybody in particular. It's always nice to win and continue to play.
Coach, you just talked about being one series win away from getting back to Omaha with a chance to defend the title that you guys have twice over. I know that the expectations for this program are starting to be that you guys should get there, but just talk about being one series win away from a third different group being able to get back there and try to defend the title. I'm
probably not a good one to discuss that situation. You know, it's one of those deals, you start out the season, you try to win enough games in the SEC to get to the tournament in Hoover, and hopefully if you're in Hoover, you go to the postseason. You get to the postseason, you try to play a little while and get to a regional and survive and advance, and that's kind of where it is. You know, I know we're a pretty good program and we're respected nationally, but we're not a juggernaut program. You know, we're not a team back in the day where Southern Cal would run the table year after year after year. We're not like that, and there's too much parity in college baseball. We've been very fortunate. We've been consistent, and you know, we won a regional. We get a few days to go back to work, and we'll be playing at home, and we'll try to find a way to win another game or two, and that's really keep it simple for us, and let's just try to do a good job when we play again.
Back to the room.
Coach, if you could just speak a little bit to the development of Tanner English, coming back after that 3 strikeout game last night, and to come back and pick up 2 hits, and then what amounted to be the game-winning run today. Just the development he's had throughout his freshman year.
It's been a year of growing for him. You're talking about one of the most outstanding high school players in the country. The guy that probably runs better than everybody. He's a plus outfielder. Will be our center fielder here next year. Expecting Marzilli to go in the draft, and he's had some really good games for us. He's a guy that maybe eventually will steal 35 or 40 bases. He's very, very special. Had a lot of games where he'd like to do over again, but he's had some really games where he's made a difference. And he and I were actually talking before the game today that he's tough on himself. He gets really hard on himself when he feels like he's not making a contribution. And we talked about trying to stay level all the time, and here we are playing, 50-plus games, and sometimes it still eats him up. And Marzilli is one of the best I've ever had at trying to stay level. He sort of takes it as it comes and tries to make a good day out of an 0 for 4 and keep a perspective on a day that's 4 for 4. So, and that's Tanner's had some growing pains this year, but still been a tremendous contributor to the success that we've had. And I look forward to the future where he stays a little bit more level. This game's hard, and you're going to fail more than you're successful, and you have the great players understand that, and they still have to help out on days where they're not satisfied individually, but they still have to try to contribute and not be so hard on yourself. And he does that at times, but he is a special talent.
Right, just you kind of alluded to the growth of this team, and you knew coming into this year that it was going to be the youngest team you've ever had, as you alluded to yesterday. When you're with these guys in the dugout and you look around and the clubhouse now, how in particular, what do you see that kind of has shown you, like, this is how I can kind of see that these guys have grown? What is it?
Well, more than anything else, they'll engage in conversation with me now, and they have in the last month or so, where early on when I would have a conversation with Pancake, it was yes sir, and there wasn't a lot of feedback. It was just one-sided, and that was the way it was with some of the young guys. And then as they start to get more comfortable, then you exchange dialogue, and they play better when they start to get comfortable. They put a lot of pressure on themselves. These guys are highly recruited players, and they come into this environment and the flags are flying, and they didn't put the flag up. So it was not an easy transition for a lot of those guys. And we were starting a new catcher, new third baseman, new shortstop, new second baseman, new left fielder. I mean, Jordan Montgomery's a new guy. So we had a lot of guys in there that were in question, but they worked at it. And like I said, there were days that I didn't do a good job. I care about my players, but sometimes my being impatient, they don't understand that, and I've been tough on them some. But my coaches are great, and the veteran guys have helped in that case. And I try to tell them sometimes it's tough love. Let's get with it, and don't get your feelings hurt. Let's get better. But still, it's hard for them. But they've grown a lot, and I think we're at a point now that they're okay with what goes on, and they have been for a while. They grew up as the year went on. It was tough in the very beginning, even though we had fall practice, we had preseason practice. It still isn't the same, when you roll into Lexington and then the Gators come to town, and it's still, you have to go through that. And fortunately, they did make some adjustments and we got better.
Coach, is this team's ability to stay loose what makes it successful in all these close, pressure-packed games? I mean, you got Michael Roth on TV sometimes showing off his guns, the fish. I mean, is it that ability to just really have fun that really sets this team apart?
In all seriousness, I think probably Roth recognized during his career, I don't know at what point it was, maybe it was his sophomore year, his junior year, I think he realized that we get after it, we grind it out, but sometimes I'm not that guy. And in order for those guys in the dugout to be comfortable, relaxed, and to be able to perform, you got to have some fun and get rid of the anxiety and tension, because I create anxiety and tension. And I think he got to the point that he said, you know what, we have to ignore him. We're gonna have some fun over here. And many years ago, I probably wouldn't have allowed some of the stuff that went on. I'm sort of old school, and occasionally now I'll bark at somebody in the dugout. But I think Roth recognized, hey, we got to have some fun here. We're gonna go out and compete, but we got to have some fun too. So we're ready, relaxed, and it's been great. I made an adjustment. I'll be honest with you. I got to a point that I realized that you can have fun and you can battle as hard as you want to. It can go together. I hadn't always been there, but I think Roth has proven to me that it's okay to have a little fun here and there.
Ray, back in fall practice, did you think that you would have Jordan Montgomery starting the possible regional series clinching game? And just talk about his performance today.
I tell you, Jordan, and you heard him up here earlier, he's very reserved. He's a freshman. He's very young. I had a conversation, never forget, I had a conversation with him one night in the fall. He called me at home, and anytime you get a call from a player at home, you get a little bit nervous, and Jordan hardly talked to me when we were at the ballpark. So he calls me at home one night at 10 o'clock, and he had to ask me about some summer plans. I think he was maybe going to Europe or somewhere this summer, and he was scheduled to pitch, and he wanted to know how I felt about it. And I said to him, I said, Jordan, we can do everything here, but if you don't pitch a lot of innings this spring, you need to get some quality innings in the summer. I didn't know how many he was going to get. And he said, Coach, I'm going to pitch. I said, okay. And that stuck with me, that one thing, because hearing him talk here today, you wouldn't think he would say that, but he said that very confidently on the phone, that I'm going to get my innings, I'm going to pitch. And when he got his opportunity, he cashed in, and he did a great job. When we needed him the most, when we were enduring some injuries, he stepped up for us. And he had a couple of bad ones, but he got back out there again, and I felt good sending him out there today. Coach Myers did, and he's got a change up, and I think he caught some of those guys looking at the breaking ball when he would drop it in. His fastball's got pretty good life. It's going to get better in his career, and you know, the guy was a big winner in high school. He won his share of games, and so I feel good with where he is, and he did step up big for us.
Anything else for Coach Tanner? All right, thank y'all.